Let's talk with Tom Murphy here this morning. Tom, 4-3 loss, Alabama. Dude, here's the deal. Arkansas should never, ever lose 3 straight games to the Alabama baseball team. What went wrong last night?
Good morning, everybody. Let's see. They're facing a team that has its back against the wall, knowing it's got to win to make the NCAA tournament, and they're being super aggressive. I mean, think about this. In a regular type situation, Michael Turner throws on the target. They throw out the guy who's gone too far, Seidel, who's gone too far off third. If Robert Moore throws the double play ball well to Peyton Stovall, they don't score any runs in the second inning. And then if Will McIntyre can get the tag down on an over-aggressive runner, they stop it right in its tracks. But right now, Alabama's got its mojo going on, and instead of paying for super aggressive base running and being shut out, they get 4 runs. They don't drive any with a hit. And Arkansas gets 2 home runs, and they win a low-scoring game. But, their pitchers are walking too many people. I use this as the highest quote in my story today from Chris Lanzilli. We've got to get out of our own heads. And I think that applies to some of the hitting and some of the defense as well, and pitching.
Tom, let me ask you about Dave Van Horn not being here. Here's the direct quote from Arkansas baseball yesterday. Arkansas head baseball coach Dave Van Horn will not be with the team for today's scheduled game in the SEC tournament. He is not feeling well but resting comfortably. How much of an impact do you think that had on this team yesterday?
Well, you try to think back through. Would he have done anything differently? Obviously he's the guy who brings the hook, but Matt Hobbs knows his pitching staff well, and, they used 2 pinch hitters in the 9th inning. Kendall Diggs came in, and then, actually 3, because Dylan Leach came in. They changed pitchers, and they went to Borfin. So I actually liked at that time Antoine John versus Leach. I liked that matchup, and then Alabama brought in the right-hander, Ray, their closer. So I don't know if anything would have been different, if they'd have called any more, hit and runs or just done anything differently. Yeah. But as Matt Hobbs pointed out on the telecast, anytime a Hall of Famer is not in your dugout, it impacts you. So who's to say if he could have seen something or made some call that could have changed things around. I don't know what his status is. I tried to ask some folks yesterday, and everyone was pretty tight-lipped about what's happening. And so, we were a little surprised when Dave did not do a Zoom on Monday. On Tuesday, after we knew that they were going to be facing Bama. And so that was a little different, and so maybe he wasn't feeling well on, Tuesday. So who knows what his stats will be the rest of the way.
Yeah, well, that'd be one of the big things everybody's watching for the next time Arkansas plays, whenever that is, and we got our doubts about today. Tom, you've watched this team closely all season long, like the rest of us. When you look at the body language and you see what we see on the field and press conferences and all these other things, is this team having fun right now? Are they having fun playing with each other?
Well, that's an esoteric question, and they had fun after Lanzilli's home run and after Battles' home run, but I just don't know what it is. I mean, you look for a deeper reasoning. How could they be struggling? Why could they be struggling? And here's some things that are going on. Michael Turner has not been hitting well in recent weeks. What shape are his legs in? I mean, we know he worked out strong and he came into the season with a lot of energy. But when you catch all the amount of games that he does, he got off to a great start, but he hasn't been hitting in recent weeks. Robert Moore has not been hitting in recent weeks in the 5-hole. So there's your 3 and your 5-hole hitters. It looks like they're, like Lanzilli said, maybe a little in their own heads. I don't know what it will take to break out of it, but y'all, if this turns into a single elimination tournament, and that would mean they're already eliminated and we don't know it yet, But if that's the case, they could have as few as 2 games left in this season, or they could have a bunch of games still left. But they've got to start pitching better. They've got to hit in the clutch better, and all those things we've been talking about all year. But here we are. We're talking about a team that's been in the top 10 virtually all season. So it's just been kind of a strange deal this year.
Yeah. So what has to change? What do we need to say when they play again? We don't think it'll be today. It'll be tomorrow. What do we need? What spark do they need? It seems like they need an event or a moment or someone hit by a pitch and everybody clears the dugout. A huge walk off. Something needs to be something needs to spark this team. Is how I kind of see it.
Let me read through the lines, Tommy. They need a benches clearing brawl. Is that
something? This team needs something to bring them to. I mean, that's what I see. They need something to kind of get things going. And I don't know if that's, like I said, a timely home run that wins you a ball game or something happening where they've got each other's backs in a tough moment. But something has to happen to get this thing, kind of off high center here.
I agree. And it's the defensive lapses that are the most troubling. And then the walks. I mean, 3 of Alabama's 4 runs, the man got on base with a walk. And then, so that's a pitcher error. They didn't attack the zone well enough. And then they're on the bases, and you've got a potential double play, and you don't make a good throw, a relay throw to first. Or you got a guy picked off between second and third, which he shouldn't have been creeping there. You get him in a rundown. And Will McIntyre has probably not been in a lot of tag situations at third base in his career, and if he swipes or just goes for the hand, they get an out there. And so they've just got to be more fundamentally sound and make natural baseball plays. And another thing Chris Lanzilli said, there's a lot of great baseball players on this team. We can break out of this, but they do. They need some kind of spark. Dave Van Horn has tried all season long with the batting order, like moving guys around. Sometimes they spark for a while, putting Kendall Diggs in for a couple of weekends. He hit a couple of big 3-run home runs. That worked for a while. Then he hit a dry spell. Borfin came back after his injury and has a few hot games. Now he's riding the bench more often. So I don't know. It's one of those intangible things. You don't know what you need. Other than a spark, and I think it begins with pitchers not walking as many batters and playing a little bit tighter defense, and maybe you do have to win some lower scoring games, but I think that's where it all starts for them.
Yeah, because I think right now, after a great start on the season, I remember the graphic from the broadcast. They were 8-9 over the last 17, so now they would be 8-10 over the last 18 games. That just doesn't sound like a team that's going to just flip a switch. Right now it seems like they can't find the switch, Tom.
That's the truth. And, I mean, they did lose a 3rd consecutive game for the first time all year, so a rare occurrence. And right now, are they chasing a home regional berth? Probably are chasing a home regional berth, which then at that point you'd want to have another chance to play a game in Hoover. And who knows if they're going to get it. Hopefully we find something out today on what they'll do with this bracket. I don't know what all the options are. Could you play games at UAB or Sanford? Any other site? Is there anything else you could do if they get good weather? I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, Tommy asked that question, could you split the ballparks? And it might be a have-to situation, even though you don't want to. Tom, let's talk about a team that is going to be on campus for postseason play. That's been Arkansas baseball. Back-to-back super regional appearances for Courtney Deifel's squad. Texas in town this weekend. You're 0-6 against them. How much is this crowd going to help push this softball team starting to get to the Longhorns tonight at 6 o'clock?
Yeah, I suspect that's going to be a big help for them. It's an advantage, and they earned that through their great play through the season and the way they went through SEC action. And you know what? They've got good pitchers between Half and Delsey. They can mix things up. They've got plenty of power hitters. Obviously, got the school record for home runs this year. I like the fact they got people who get on base up and down the lineup. They've got a spark in sides at the top of the lineup. They got big hitters, Gibson, Malkin, and others that there's been a bunch of 3-run home runs for this team. So I kind of like their mojo. They're the opposite of where Arkansas baseball is right now, seemingly very confident, and that in any given game, some big thing will happen. And, and they beat a Pac-12 team that was shutting them out for 5 innings with a big inning in the winner's bracket final game. So it would be superlative if they slay a demon like Texas to make their first College World Series. Maybe that's the writing on the wall for this program.
So they got a couple transfers. We've talked about some of them already, and Taylor Ellsworth is one of them, who's a transfer from Texas. Y'all know what her walk-up song is, by chance?
I do not.
Any guess? Tom, any guess?
Nah.
Her walk-up song is All My Exes Live in Texas. How about that? So that's going to be I think the Arkansas crowd is going to be behind them tonight. Well, Tom, we appreciate it, man. Thanks for giving us an update on Arkansas baseball. Hopefully they play today. Wouldn't count on it, so we might have to wait till tomorrow to see if they're done in Hoover or going to be moving on past it.
Yeah, it's gotten kind of messy down here. So, yep, everybody have a great weekend. See ya.
All right, thanks, Tom. We'll talk to you on Monday. Tom Murphy with us from the Arkansas Democrat.
Partners at BetOnline continue to be the #1 source for all your betting needs and sports info. Find all the latest sports developments, including updated odds on the NBA playoffs, fights, and even next season's futures. And don't forget that the MLB is back as well. Who are you picking to win the World Series? BetOnline is your continued source for all your sports wagering needs, including live betting and your favorite Vegas casino and poker games. It's super easy to get started, so head to the website today or use your mobile device to join and use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.